Getting into Gaza is more like entering a maximum security prison, rather than entering a city or a country. Israel has a complete stranglehold on Gaza. What it takes to travel there, apart from the usual tickets, special passes, visas and luggage, is patience. 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 And just when your patience is about to expire, crossing this no man's land is forbidden to all but a handful of foreigners and Palestinians. It's a privilege of sorts. This tunnel is a long walk to Gaza. This is Ra'ed Athamna, my driver and my friend, waiting at the Palestinian side to pick me up. Ra'ed, like most Palestinians here, is locked inside of Gaza. He's not been allowed to leave in over 17 years.
In June 2006, a squad of Gazan fighters tunneled under an Israeli border fortification and captured an Israeli corporal named Gilad Shalit. The corporal became a bargaining chip, the Palestinians' only leverage in attaining freedom for 10,000 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. Shalit was captured from this military post and smuggled by an 8-member Palestinian commando unit via a 1-kilometer tunnel. The subsequent Israeli invasion left this part of Rafah in ruins. The airport, whose runway had already been destroyed in 2001, was now made completely inoperable. Gaza's borders were sealed, but the Palestinians of Gaza remained unbowed.
An international boycott of the elected Hamas government was beginning to take its toll. Not only were Gaza and the West Bank surrounded by its enemy Israel, now it was being starved of international aid and assistance. Palestinians were suffering. But the Hamas government remained popular with the Gazan people, despite frequent Israeli attacks and a summer invasion, which reduced electrical power plants, bridges, police stations, and government ministries to ruins.
The Hamas government was unable to protect its own citizens from the Israeli onslaught. Every assault brought new victims. This Gazan woman, like so many others, is trying to salvage anything she can after her house was hit during an Israeli air attack.
While the elections had been decided by ballots, power on the streets of Gaza was still in the hands of men with guns. Military units from Fatah refused to take orders from the new government. Ra'ed is a fixer. He helps foreign journalists get their stories. His clients include the New York Times, Australian television, and German and French radio. Ra'ed has saved me from stone throwers, wrestled angry men with machine guns, and gotten me places armed militants insisted were off limits, all without a byline or a bulletproof vest. Ra'ed is one of Gaza's unsung heroes of journalism. The story today is the murder of 3 children on their way to school. It is unclear if they were accidentally killed in inter-Palestinian fighting, or if they were targeted as an act of vengeance against their father, who works with the government's secret police. My job is to keep the camera close to the funeral march. Ra'id's job is to stay abreast of me and scout ahead for developments.
Let's go.
Ra'id has a sixth sense for danger. And sure enough, before we go far, we learn that snipers from another faction are firing down on the march. In Gaza, even funeral processions are dangerous. Israeli infantry have poured over the border, engulfing Ra'id's town, with the stated aim of stopping homemade Qassam rockets from being fired into Israel.
What happened exactly?
Israeli now destroys the houses, destroys the road, get inside the houses.
What about your house?
Not my house, my family's house, my uncle house, Israeli damage. One wall, two walls inside rooms. I don't know what's happening now in this moment because I don't hear any news about my house. Nobody answered the phones. I don't know nothing about my family house.
For the next 5 days, we try unsuccessfully to get inside besieged Beit Hanun. On November 7th, the Israelis pull back behind their wall. We find the town completely in ruin. The dead and wounded have not yet been counted. The material damage is in the millions. Hundreds of lives have been destroyed. That night, I lay awake with the sound of Israel's unmanned spy planes circling overhead. In the morning, military aircraft scramble my TV signal, making it impossible to watch the news. Ra'id and I had a 7 a.m. appointment. I waited, but Ra'id didn't show up. I called, but Ra'id didn't answer. Word reached me that Beit Hanun had been bombarded. Worried, I rushed to Ra'id's doorstep.
والله الله بركاته والله مش عارف جالس شفت الولاد الصغار بموتوا مش عارف ايش I see the kids all tears 20 years cut pieces why nothing I don't have any idea just when I want moving I'm moving 2 kilometers I come back I'm moving 35 from here yeah, I'm moving. My brother called me. Allah, send ambulance. Say he died. Send help me. I come back to see what happens. I don't know. Just I see كلهم pieces. Just I go to hospital. I don't see anybody still alive. All of them is dead. All of them.
At approximately 5 a.m. on November 8th, the Israeli artillery battery stationed across the border from Beit Hanun fired a single round into the town. Shocked from their sleep, the Athamna family scrambled out of their beds and into the alleyway below. The battery then fired 14 shells in quick succession, which landed in the alleyway, killing 18 members of Ra'id's family and gravely wounding more than 40 others. Briefly, it was the top news story around the world. More bad news from Gaza.
This people. This you see it. This for the maybe see the girl she old 8 months. 1 year and a half. Maybe blood, the clothes, everything can you see it. Everything can you see it here. Everything. You inside if you want. All of them dead. 16 dead in this way. Some of them come to I show you inside. What happened? Everywhere can you see it. Everywhere. Come. Look. Look, the shield tanks, what you do here? What you do here? Look. Look over there. Look over there. Can you look here? Can you look here? Can you film everything?
Ra'id spun in circles on the roof as Israeli spy planes continued to circle overhead. He started getting interview requests from as far away as Australia.
Anytime you want to call, welcome, anytime.
There was no more room in Beit Hanoun's old cemetery. So the next afternoon we walked with the bodies to a new burial ground on the outskirts of town. At the gravesite, I looked in vain for Ra'ed, but found his father and his brother. The dead included Ra'ed's grandmother, Hajj Fatima Athamna, who was 86 years old, and Ra'ed's uncle Masoud Athamna, 56 years old, and his wife Sabah, 46 years old, and their daughter Fatima, 16 years old, and little Maryam, 2.5 years old, and her baby sister Mesa, 8 months old, and Ra'ed's nephew Mahmoud, 12 years old, and his brother Syed, 8 years old. That day, Israel expressed regret for the civilian deaths. Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert said the artillery strike was the result of what he called a technical failure.
Some of them tell sorry. Who's sorry? What's sorry for this Finnish family? What's sorry for 18's death, for most of them in hospital without foot, without hand? What's sorry? What's peace with this Nazi? What's peace with this Sahyoni? No peace. No life with these people. Just I tell you, if you finish my family, I am still alive. I want to buy new children to attack these people. I don't forget my uncle. I don't forget my brother. I don't forget or my family. I don't forget him. If you are still alive 100 years, I don't forget him. I don't forget him. I forget 18 death. How I forget 18? How I forget 18? 18, most of them kids and women and old people. How 18 years, 16 years, 17 years, 8 months, 1.5 months. How I forget? No way, no way. No way to forget, no way to forget anybody from this family. No way.
Ra'ed was back at work just days after the massacre of his family. He had no choice. His family and his clan depended on his earnings to live. My first assignment with Ra'ed after the incident was to check reports that an old British burial ground had been damaged during an earlier Israeli attack. At the close of the First World War, the British Army built this beautiful cemetery near Beit Hanoun as a resting place for thousands of Allied soldiers killed in Gaza. Over the years, the cemetery has been carefully tended by local Palestinian gardeners, paid by the British. This small plot of land is one of the few places lovingly cared for in Gaza. While I was filming the broken tombstones, Ra'ed drifted away. Amid the cemetery's trees and flowers, Ra'ed rested and found some temporary peace. For a few minutes, I forgot about my assignment. In a world of violence, where peace is so rare, this was a moment I wanted to last. The news story could wait for another day.